Ladies and gentlemen, I am Sarcasm, and I am in a woman's trench coat that I found from Goodwill. About a month ago, I made a video where I explained every map, tips, strategies, how hard it was to win on both sides, etc. However, I need time to get my really big video out, so today, I'm gonna rank every map in Outcome Memories from worst to best, where the worst maps are the ones that are skewed too heavily to one side, or otherwise are annoying to play on for one reason or another. With that said, if you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. Subscribe if you want to, join the community Discord, and let's not waste any more time and hop into the video. So, do you remember in the good old days of 0.1 when X's Castle was considered the big map? Yeah, well, now in 0.2 I finally have something comparable to my mom in terms of size. This is probably the map that has gotten the most criticism in 0.2. It's a sprawling, huge map with two lanes that meet at separate ends with a huge middle area. Did you know that it takes the same amount of time to get from one spring to the other in this lake that it took to go from one side of Old Green Hill to the other? You can fit an entire 0.1 Outcome Memories map inside the lake alone. And, that's a problem, in my opinion. The map is simply too big to have any fun on, as anyone whose name isn't Silver, Sonic, or 2011X. If you're Colossus and you have a team that is very spread out, good luck getting anything done before the ring spawns. 2011X and Tripwire are more bearable as EXEs, but that doesn't mean the map is good. After all, Green Hill does have the big 0.2 problem of having invisible walls, everywhere. To the point where it's constricting to characters like Tails and Silver in ways that simply don't feel natural. Why do these flowers have collision? If you're chasing a Sonic on this map, just drop Chase and pack it up because you're not gonna catch him. This is his best map. I miss Old Green Hill. It was my favorite map. It was probably the most balanced. It required the most teamwork to survive on. It was just muy perfect. What have they done to my baby? It hurts me to say that it's the worst map now. Angel Island is probably the epitome of mediocre. It isn't a bad map by any means, but it does suffer quite a bit in a few different ways. First of all, the map barely works on lower end devices. If you're on a phone, it's going to be simulating what happens on screen with how hot it'll get. It's certainly the most unoptimized of the map pool, where my laptop can't even run the map with a consistent FPS, and this thing is pretty strong. I shudder to think what mobile players have to go through. Or those poor iPad Timmies. The map design is fairly boring too. This map feels like it's trying to be Old Green Hill, which I don't mind. Again, Green Hill, Old Green Hill was my favorite map. But it doesn't bring anything new to the table. There's no cool little map gimmick, except smog. If you count smoke as a map gimmick, then more power to you. At least, New Green Hill has the gimmick of being the biggest map in the game, and absolutely stunning when you first load in. Angel Island has fire that can't even burn you. It's just there for looks. It would be really cool if the Master Emerald could do something. I don't know what it could do, but it could be cool nonetheless. Imagine it was a teleport to the you could use it to teleport as both EXE and Survivor to the temple. That would be pretty cool. Angel Island is also just a huge death trap for anyone without any vertical mobility because the crater in the middle. So that kind of sucks. Overall, it just becomes pretty boring and uninteresting to play on, along with consistent frame drops. But at least it doesn't take 50 seconds to get to the survivors. Mystic Cave is a large cave. I don't know what you expected. It has many ledges that are quite nice to play on. Actually, it feels big, but in a cramped way, which is a design philosophy I'll get to later on with another map. But here, it isn't executed as well as it could have been. It generally is pretty fun to play on, unless your name is Colossus. The only few complaints I have are levied towards things that I've already, complained about. Invisible walls, slippery rocks, all that shiznaz. I actually want to focus on why I think this map in particular is worse than the two maps ahead. There are a lot of areas that feel like wasted space, if you know what I mean. On this map specifically, there are so many areas that most people simply don't go to because it's either a death trap, uninteresting, or is detrimental to your team to be there. These spots include the big room behind the two bridges in that hold section, the ring spawn inside the little house thing, and the other ring spawn with the two bridges connecting to that one rock island. It feels like these spots exist purely for the ring spawn, which it really isn't how any of the other maps should feel. So in my opinion, it ends up messing with map flow quite a lot because you have to go out of your way to get there. It's not like really natural for you to end up in these areas. I don't mind if the ring spawns far away from me, but I do mind when it is in a corner of the map that's like never visited to outside of the ring. If these spots had more function with the whole map flow, then this might be placed higher, but that is my only complaint. But it is a real big complaint about Mystic Cave, is the amount of wasted space. You Can't Run has been taken down a peg in terms of survivor-sidedness because of Colossus and Tripwire being able to negate a lot of the double jump spots, or just trap the loops entirely. However, I can't really put it at number 1 for one specific reason, and it's the multiple exits. This is a problem simply because it means that characters that are kind of made for guarding the ring, like Tripwire, can't really do too much effectively if they have to spread 10 mines across 3 exits. 2 of them having 2 different hallways anyway, which makes it really punishing if survivors decide to spread out to different exits. This is kind of balanced by the core explosion, but like not really, because that explosion only covers 1 exit. Otherwise though, this map is pretty balanced now because of the killers who can't really be infinite looped over and over again. That was the biggest complaint of You Can't Run, but now, after new killers have been added that aren't as loopable and bullyable as 2011X, really it's just 2011X being bad at the map now. I'm honestly grappling with the fact that Hill Gym is now my favorite map, considering I'm a Tails, Cream, and Silver main now. I like the support characters. Anyway, Hill Gym is my favorite map now that Not Perfect is kind of out of the equation right now. Hill Gym has always been like the big map, the maze that confuses noobs, you know, the one that makes everyone lost in 0.1 and no one could find the ring spawn and they get left behind because of it. There was a whole reason that Hill Gym was the one that had the overtime. But now it's just kind of like the balanced map, unless you're playing with supports. It's kind of good for all of the EXCs and at least playable on for most of the survivors. But you know, it's not too good for either side anymore. It's just a good map now. Hill Gym is probably more fun than most of the others maps because it is probably the most dangerous compared to the rest of the other maps, which, you know, I really like as Survivor. Which, you know, I really like as Survivor because I'm playing a horror game. I want to be scared for my life. I don't want to see my precious darling die. So, Hill Gym just ends up being a really nice map to play on. Honestly, 10 out of 10, no glaze, best map in the game. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. I just needed filler content to be able to post regularly while I make my really big video, which is probably going to be like at least an hour and a half long. Anyway, if you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. Subscribe if you want to. Join my community Discord, and I hope you have a wonderful day.